And thank you to everybody from Shibumi for having me here. It's really exciting. I'm looking forward to learning a lot from all of you over these next couple of days. So, as Ken shared, my company is Brightfire. Just started earlier this year. This process has been very fast in terms of creating the partnership, creating the offering, and even beginning to deploy it with clients. And part of the reason that was able to happen was the power of Shibumi, candidly. So the way that this platform is so configurable and so aligned with how the people that I'm serving, the way that they think, the way that they need to solve problems, is one of the reasons why it's just been a great year and a great start to this partnership and to my company, Brightfire, which I'm grateful for. One of the things that sometimes people will ask me is, so why the name Brightfire? And so part of the story behind that is this awareness, and just a little bit of background about me. I've been working in this portfolio management space for innovation and product management for a long time, for over nearly 25 years. And so one of the things that has remained true my entire career, and sadly is still true in so many companies today, is they don't have the ability to see the information and the insight, and to get the insights that they need to make good decisions about their innovation and product portfolio. So this idea of Brightfire is kind of, shining light in these dark corners of the innovation and product management processes. There's a lot of darkness, and much of what this entire offering is about is helping to illuminate that for those clients. And I'll just kind of start by talking about just building on that, really. So this idea that people can't see what they need to see in order to make good decisions, that has a real-world impact. So, and you can see some of the statistics. This is research that's been around for years, honestly. And I'm going to focus most of my comments on the industry, or the part of the industry I've been focused on for a long time as well, which is around consumer goods, food and beverage companies specifically. So these are very low-tech companies, compared to some of the other high-tech companies and software companies that Shibumi works with. But they have the same kinds of problems. And in fact, you think about the scale of some of the larger companies. If they launch a new product and it fails, it has sometimes a multi-million-dollar effect on their company. So in a way, what we're focused on doing is helping reduce that failure rate. So, and that statistic, 49% of new consumer products launched per year are failures. So basically, these big famous companies, they launch these products and they know that most of the time it's a coin flip as to whether it's going to work or not. And much of the reason behind that failure is related to the kinds of things that the Shibumi platform and then my application, the Brightfire application, is focused on. The other thing I'll just say here at the outset is I've noticed, as I said, I've been working in this space for a long time, focusing on larger companies, large multi-billion dollar companies. The other thing I've observed is that there's a lot of opportunity in smaller and medium-sized companies that have those exact same problems, and they don't have a way to solve them. They don't have the resources, they don't have the time, so they need something that they can use quickly and efficiently and solve those same problems. And again, that's kind of the power of the Shibumi platform, is to be able to do that in a very fast way, in as few as 30 days, and I'll talk more about that as well. So this challenge about helping reduce the failure rate, helping companies achieve these growth plans, and be more likely to hit their growth targets. This other challenge here is about or the reason behind this, something that's unique about innovation and product management in manufacturing, I'll just describe it that way, is it's one of the few business processes that is cross-functional. So it's not just, like an IT group, or it's not just a supply chain function. It's people that have to come together from all of these functions and work together in ways that they're not always comfortable doing, right? So it requires sales and marketing and finance and manufacturing to come together and share information and use that to make good decisions at the project level and at the portfolio level. And the sad reality, and these are almost literal quotes that I've got from talking to people that lead these different functions, is that they can't get answers to information because the information is out there within other parts of the business that they don't own. So classic question from a vice president of R&D is to say, I don't know that I've got my highly paid, well-trained R&D resources focused on the right projects, the highest value projects, in order to make sure that our business is going to grow. Nor do I even know if I have enough resources to do what the business is asking me to do. And again, think about these. This is like the heart of the business, right? Is innovation and product development, and to have that level of uncertainty is kind of remarkable. And the same is true from a marketing standpoint. They need to know that what they're planning to sell and bring to market is going to get there on time. If I'm a manufacturing leader, if I'm a plant manager, I need to know what I'm being asked to go build, what's coming down the pipeline in the next 3, 6, 9, 12 months. And often they don't see that until it's too late. And that creates all kinds of other problems that you can imagine. So what my company is focused on is, and you can't, those colors, Mark, you're right, they're not great. So what I'm focused on is helping companies move from a situation on the left-hand side, and you can't see this. It looks like a funnel on the left-hand side, but it's too light to see the funnel behind it. Most people understand in these companies how these processes should work, right? Stage gate or phase gate processes have been around for years. And they know I should have a lot of ideas up front, and they should, winnow them down over a set of decisions, and that's what's going to allow my team to get to be aligned and to be focused on the right things. They can't actually do that very easily because they need more help than they can get just with spreadsheets and working with manual tools. So the reality is more the situation on the right-hand side, where and it's not even that people aren't making good decisions. They're not able to make any decisions when it comes to prioritization. They're kind of like, oh, we've got all this stuff, just go do your best, people. Do all of it, right? And the result is that kind of stress at the operating level, where these teams are forced to make decisions about what they should spend their time on without really knowing what the best thing is for the company. So the application and the opportunity in the market is to help companies to do this more effectively. And again, I have a feeling I'm preaching to the choir a little bit about some of this, but just so you get a sense from the world of innovation and product development, product management, these are the kinds of opportunities that those companies can see out there in terms of getting to market faster, increasing their success rate, and therefore, as you might imagine, increasing their overall revenue and profit. So the Brightfire application is built on the Shibumi platform and helps companies to solve those problems. And by doing that, what that means is it enables that process in a way that they can actually get value out of and get people to use and to adopt. By enabling that process, they finally have access to information and insight complete visibility to each of those elements of their innovation plans, processes, and their resources so they can make better decisions about what they invest in and what they don't invest in. And again, these are not, the focus is not these large, complex companies that have lots of resources. These are very lean, smaller, medium-sized companies, and it's got to be simple for them. And so the ability, I can't tell you how many times I've shown this to somebody, that's a client I'm working with recently, where they like, oh, that's really intuitive, right? So to get that kind of feedback from non-technical senior business leaders is really important. And so that's what we've built out with this Brightfire application, which I'll share a little bit about with you here, and I'm going to give you just some illustrations, a few glances into the way that it works. And I'm going to use this client that I'm working with right now just to speak to a couple of examples in that regard. One of the things that's really important for innovation and product management is to have a way for different types of processes to be mapped to different types of projects, because these companies will have these very large, complex projects that take two or 3 years long sometimes, and then they'll have a lot of these small things, right, that a customer asks them to go build something, a private label product that might take like 2 or 3 months. And so they've got to have a way, and I'm sorry, there's a lot on the screen, I'm not going to even speak to some of the detail of it, but think about these different kinds of processes that have to be mapped to those different needs. And so part of what we've built out with this application is a way for when somebody creates a new project, they have choices about what type of project it is, and the system will literally make recommendations to them to say, I see you're trying to do this. You should use this type of process. It's not forcing people down a path. It's providing some guardrails and guidance so that they're able to take advantage of the parts of the system that are going to help them the most. And here's just a really quick example, and this is just a really, a real slice of a screenshot, really. So, but you get a sense for that process here. This is an example of a brand new to the world product, and I'll use Ken. Thank you for this. You see, so the first thing that they're asked is, okay, so what type of project is it? And based on that, it's going to recommend following this path, which is visible up here. And another thing that is useful about the application is this ability to, I'm going to come back to use this word guardrails again, right? So this concept of agile and iteration, it has found its way into the manufacturing world, but it's also, these are not software products they're building, right? So they do need a way to encourage people to manage a type of iteration. I'm going to use that term fairly loosely, but to build out prototypes so that they can have that learning earlier on in the process, feed that into the business case they're developing, and then finalize that in a more detailed way in that development phase. So this kind of flexibility in the process that allows for both this concept of iterations, still with governance and decision-making around it, is critical for innovation and product development. So for other projects, and now this is a formula or just an ingredient change, you're going to go, you don't need to do that upfront stuff. So you can go right into a quick version of that business case and go into execution. So one of the things that, and again, just real basic here, is this process flexibility. The other thing that is important, two other just quick things that are necessary for these companies to be successful. One is, and Mark talked about resource management, resource planning. That's critical. Again, we're talking about cross-functional resources that you've got to plan for. People from marketing and from supply chain and from operations. And so you've got to have an easy way to create plans. And so part of what we're doing is with this client is to use something, again, inspired from the agile world of shirt sizing. You might have seen that with agile software teams. They'll talk about small, medium, large. And it's the same kind of principle that we're enabling with the Shibumi platform to allow someone to say, okay, I'm starting this new food product. It's a small, medium, large in terms of my resource plan. And then and again, these people may not know how many supply chain people they need because they're in project management or they're in marketing, right? So to be able to have then a default starting point to say, oh, well, if it is, in this example, it's a large project, I just want to be able to press a button, that's that create demand plan on shirt size model, and have it automatically be built out, right? So instantly to have these demand plans that don't take a lot of time is really important. And that's what allows, for this last example that I'll speak to, the kind of prioritization, being able to see, okay, I've got way more, and this is of course bogus data, but it gives you a sense. Those bars are projects. I've got way more demand than I have capacity. Can't do everything, but I want to make sure I'm focused on doing the right things. And it adds up to, it has a big effect on my company, right? If I could do all these things, I would have $17 million of gross profit that I would be able to bring in for this part of my company. So being able to, and actually again, Mark talked about scenarios a little bit. We're doing this in a slightly different way, but this idea of being able to say, all right, here are the resources that if I had unlimited resources, here's what it looks like. We've now been able to modify that. Sorry, there we go. I'll just get to that. So to be able to say, all right, if I can only use these resources, what are the ones that we're going to recommend? And so ultimately, what these companies need is a way to do a little bit of that what-if analysis and say, all right, if I pull the resources down to that amount, how can I do that and still maintain the gross profit that I'm focused on? So, and if anybody's interested in seeing a little bit more detail about how we do this, I'd be happy to show you at some time over the next couple of days. But I just wanted to give you a flavor for the way that we're using that in this industry with this really critical business process, with the power of the Shibumi platform that, again, I'm so excited about. The last thing I just wanted to just comment on, I've done this a little bit already. Part of the learning for me has been, the way that the platform works, figuring out how to adapt it, and along the way, the reason, again, I've been able to move so quickly, the configuration, the ease of configuration of the platform, something that I don't know if people really understand, but the way that time-based data works with the platform has made all of the financial modeling and the resource modeling that underlies this offering really easy to do in the right way, and that's been something that's been a great thing. And then the other thing is this the consistent pace of innovation. It's been fun to see, even in the little amount of time that I've been a partner, just how far and in what direction it's going. And I'm really excited about what's ahead and look forward to sharing more of that with you over the next couple of days. Just feel free to come grab me. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Awesome. Thank you. See, Kim? Hello? See, Kim, they do appreciate it, right? So that's right. So how did you actually find Shibumi, by the way?
So I had come across Shibumi, actually not indirectly, even before the idea of Brightfire was was something I had even thought about. Honestly, it was through, I had heard about Shibumi through a competitive situation I was involved with elsewhere. Let's just say it that way, right? But I was working in a very different space, right? So when I started looking around for partners, one of the things that was, so it was intriguing to me was kind of recognizing all the other use cases that Shibumi had, and also having that credibility from knowing it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Anyways, appreciate it. So
Yeah.
I believe, right, Corey, we are at lunch. Is that correct? All right. So we are at lunch. Lunch is right outside. So we are on break, and then we are back here at 1:15. Is that right? 1:15. So thank you again, Brian. We appreciate it. Thank you, Angie. We appreciate it very much, guys. Thank you.